Hello everyone. This is a quick stream slash video about how I'm not going to play Proto Philadelphia. Um, I was I'm not sure I could say I was excited to go, but I had everything ready. I had my cards. I had played a little bit, and that was plan. I had been planning for a long time. I booked my flight in December. I found a cheap flight. Uh, I thought about going. I thought about not going, and I weighed everything in. And since it was the first PT, I can use my I could use my Hall of Fame invite. So if I made 9-7, I could chain the invites, maybe qualify to Worlds. Bunch of bunch of reasons why I should go. And the ticket was about 450 euros for the US from here, and like two flights, like 14 hours, not even. That was no real reason not to go. For me, there was no reason not to go. So I booked, and well, things did not exactly go the way I expected them to go. So here goes. The whole so the To prepare for a tournament, I remain on the CFB team, or what remains of the CFB team. That's LSV, Nassif, Reed, Mike Sigrist, Eli Cassis, Logan Nettles, and a bunch of other big names. And I have to say, I tried my best to do as much as I could, but it is hard. It is hard uh, because I don't know how others do with kids. I don't know how they live their life with the kids. Have Can do everything they want, everything they think of doing. Because you, how do you have any time? Anyway, I tried them. I played Magic Online, and we came up. Well, there's still at the time I am streaming or making this video. They're still discussing the last few slots, so I'm not gonna say exactly what I plan to play, and it's irrelevant to the story. But I settled on the deck. I'm not 100% sure of it, but I found all the cards, and oh no, you just arrived. Don't worry, you just arrived, and I was ready to go. So just to rewind a little bit, the last few weeks have been pretty hard. I had a very tough time finding time to play, finding time to practice, finding time to draft. Yesterday, I spent most of my day trying to pick up the cards to play the tournament. I don't own any of the cards, so I had to go around town to pick up cards from people who had cards, and it was pretty exhausting. And it's a taxing activity. But I managed to have, let's say, 65 of the cards, and the others were commons that I knew I could get. So on that part, I did everything I could, and it's kind of worked out. And last night, so the plan when I go to the US is to not sleep the night before and sleep on the plane. You arrive, it's the early afternoon, you've just slept for maybe 8 or 10 hours. I do sleep very well on the plane. And then you get there and you're fresh. You don't have the jet lag. And well, that's the plan. So I spend most of my night drafting up until maybe 4:30, when I'm like, okay, fine, it's time to pack up. My bag is ready. I have my vaccination papers. I mean, my vaccination app ready to be shown to show proof of vaccination. And oh yeah, that's and I'm ready to go. So pick up all my stuff. I kiss my son, and he's like, "Daddy, no, don't go. You're back to park, no." So he's 5.5, and now he understands that when I leave, when I leave, I'm not coming back right away. I'm gonna be away for a few days, and that was kind of heartbreaking. But that's how it is. Before he was born, I was doing this every second week. So I pick up all my stuff. Uh, I take a bike, go into town. It's 5 a.m. and I haven't slept at all. Zero minutes. Go take the bus, and I arrive at the airport fairly in advance. I couldn't check in because of the vaccination status stuff. So they couldn't verify my vaccination status online. So I could not check in online. So I get there. There's nobody checking in either. Everybody's done, or I don't know where people are. And the lady at the check-in, like, okay, I give her my passport. Okay, vaccination paper and ESTA. And there's a little blank. I'm like, oh shit. Completely blanked that one. Completely forgot about the ESTA thing. So I look up my papers because I did the ESTA. So what is the ESTA? The ESTA is the security, the online security procedure that you have to fill before you go to the US. You do it once every 2 or 3 years, and that replaces the crappy paper you fill on the plane. That basically allows you, yeah, visitor's visa. So the thing is, I haven't been to the US in like since Hawaii, February 2020. So that's 3 years ago. And honestly, I completely forgot about it. Like this, I know that's something you have to do. And exactly 3 years. And since then, I don't know, these years went by so fast. I don't know if much happened or nothing happened, but time kind of froze. And I didn't even think that would be an issue. So I check my thing. Oh, and she checks my ESTA status. And she's like, you don't have a valid ESTA. I'm like, you're right, I don't have a valid ESTA. I didn't even check. I didn't even think of it. And since like I'm not, I'm mostly talking to Americans or people who haven't, who don't need to do that, or newbies that are going to the US for the first time. I don't have this excitement about going to the US for the first time. And people would just ask me, in general, people ask me, oh, what do I have to do when I go to the US? Well, you got to do the visa, you got to do the stuff. And this, you didn't require that. When was that? They started doing it maybe, what, 10 years ago? Something like that. I think I got notifications in the past to say, oh, your visa is expired, you have to renew it if you want to go. But I didn't receive that. I don't know. Everything was stopped for 3 years. Like 3 years ago, I basically fill in a working visa when I was in the MPL to get a working visa to get to the US to not have to deal with the ESTA stuff. So really, it's something you could say it's an onboard trick that was like hidden in the back of the screen. Like I couldn't see it. It was there the whole time, but I couldn't see it. And then when it shows up, I'm like, oh, okay. Well, there's still time. I can still fix this. I have about 30 minutes. I have about 30 minutes to figure it out. So this is when things start to be a little tricky. Uh, so, and this is where you can learn, because it's not just about telling the story of how I messed up badly. So I pick up my phone, like, okay, well, this is kind of critical. I'm gonna have to figure this out right now. Pick up my phone, go to the ESTA site, and I'm like filling everything. Like, oh, what's your address? What's your have you killed someone? No. No? Are you dealing drugs? No. Have you abducted? No, I haven't abducted anybody. Have you worked in Nazi Germany back in 40? No, I haven't. No. Okay. And you fill everything. And okay, what's your address? What's your parents' address? No, no, like stuff like a bunch of stuff. So I press OK, and then you get to the payment, and then it says 120 bucks. And I'm like, no, I know it's not 120 bucks. I know it's 20 bucks. And then I remember, okay, this is where you start losing faith in humanity, because this is a classic scam that I talked about many times. Uh, there are on Google, if you type ESTA Visa blah blah blah, the first hits are not gonna be the official site. They're gonna be scams where they do it for you, and it's 20 bucks plus 80 fees. So anybody like me who doesn't know better, they're gonna pick up the first stuff and they're gonna pay 120 bucks. I'm like, no, this is not the right one. So be careful. That's a known scam, and these people have no spine, and they will rip you off. So I'm like, flip. I just lost 5 minutes trying to fill everything to the wrong site. Delete everything. Find the other site. Find the official site. Okay, let's go. And I fill everything up really quickly. 20 bucks. Okay, that's better. 20 bucks. Clack. And it says waiting for approval. And it says it's between like a few minutes and 72 hours. I have about 20 minutes. About 20 minutes. Yeah, so I explained why I left that for last minute. You missed the first 5 minutes. And that's I did not look, watch again, and I'll tell you. I explained why. So, and I wait, and I'm at the desk, and there's nobody waiting after me, and there's nobody after me, and the chick is like, oh well, just refresh and you'll see. Refresh and you'll see. And I'm like, there's no freaking way I get it on time. There's no way. But it's my fault. I'm not pesting at anybody. I know my dad a couple of months ago, and my dad is not very tech savvy, and he missed the boarding on his flight to visit my brother. He also needed to fill a form, and he couldn't do it, and he missed his flight. And I'm like, yeah, well, that's something you have to take care of before, especially if you don't know how to do it. I don't give him shit, but I'm like, there's nothing, like, don't be mad at anybody but yourself, because same, it's onboard trick. Like, you have to fill stuff. You have to just know everything. And when you're grizzled traveler like myself, you think you have it all figured out. But things have changed a lot in the last 3 years, or like 5 years. And while I could do this with my eyes closed, I got this confidence of nothing can happen to me while traveling that kind of kept me away from this kind of trouble. Anyway, uh, 20 minutes pass by, no approval. The chick is like, well, you know what, you know what? As soon as you get it, you call British Airways, and we'll rebook you for the next one. That should be easy. I'll just gonna put something, notify on your reservation, no ESTA, and they will just change your flight. I'm like, yeah, well, that's support. That's that is very optimistic. But at that point, that's the only thing I have. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll try. It is 6:40 in the morning, and I hadn't slept in 18 or 20 hours. So I'm starting to feel the fatigue. But there's stuff to do, and I'm like, I feel a little empty. I I feel like I messed up, but I'm not even that mad. I'm like, yep, that's I missed it. I missed it, and I'm an idiot. But there's nothing I can do right now. So let's try to take advantage of this situation. Not take advantage, but let's try to fix this, and yeah, let's try to go. So they close check in, miss my flight, and I go sit down to try to figure out. So I pull out my laptop from my bag, and I'm starting to look, and I go to the site. I refresh every 2 minutes. Nothing's happening. I message a couple of people. Tell them like what am I gonna do if I can't make it. And Scott Larrabee as well. Like, look, no, Scott, I posted that on Twitter, and Scott messaged me. He's like, oh well, I hope you sort it out. I'm like, yeah, well, right now it doesn't look too good, but well, will I be able to play another one? And since I used my Hall of Fame invite, I just unenrolled from the tournament. I could just unenroll from the tournament and enroll in the next one. It's not like I qualified for that one. I used my special invite. So I'm not using that special invite anymore. So I tried to figure it out, and contacting British Airways is really tough. Contacting airlines right now when you need service is incredibly hard. And I know where to look, and I couldn't find anything, at least for the first few minutes. But we'll get to that in a minute. That's where things get really interesting. So hold on tight, because things are, this is kind of boring, I agree. This is just a story of someone who messes up, but this is just the build up, because now comes the really fun part. About 9 a.m. I think. No, before that. I think it's, I got it, what, an hour after? I think it was 7. Let me check. I actually have the email. So I got the email, the approval at 7:26, and I sent it at 6:13. So an hour 13 minutes later, I got the approval. So it was obviously an hour too late. Actually, no, it was 45 minutes too late. So I got the approval, because I was now going to rebook my flight is that if I didn't get my ESTA renewed, because that would not make any sense. So they so I got my ESTA, and I'm looking for ways to contact British Airways to change my flight. I go to the site, manage booking, impossible. Like there's no way. Let's see if I can. There's no way I can change my flight because already departed, and I'm written off as a no-show. So basically, all my legs, the Toulouse, London, and London, Philadelphia, are cancelled, and I can't touch that, at least not manually. So I tried to look online, phone number, British Airways. There's no way. You can't find that. There's no public phone number for people for British Airways to contact British Airways. So you do what any normal person would do, which is complain on Facebook and Twitter. How can I find British Airways? Tagging them. And I go to the site. There's a chat bot, like I need support. I go to Twitter, I DM them like I need support. I go to Facebook, I need support, and I just like sent everything there. Hopefully someone answers. And I know things like that have been sorted by other Magic players who tweeted at the companies and then contacting you. So on one of my tweets, there's a British Airways that replied, said, "Oh, DM us and we'll contact you," which is pretty normal for companies. I think they do that. Most of them do that. So I DM'd them like, look, so I have a I need to talk to someone to change my booking. Like, oh sure, let us call you. Give us your WhatsApp number and we'll call you. I'm like, okay, well that sounds cool. I mean, that's something they could do. I haven't been in that situation in a long time, so I guess that's something they could do. In the meantime, I collected some information about calling them. Oh, they did. That's when the fun part comes. Remember, it's 8 a.m. It's 8 a.m. and I haven't slept in a long time. So in the meantime, I'm like juggling between my phone, between Facebook, between my computer, and my brain is barely working. And I have this backup of calling the French British Airways that opens at 9:30. So I have some time to waste. So I put my number, and sometimes someone contacts me on WhatsApp. This is like a strange number with the British Airways customer service, and they call me, and the connection doesn't really work. So we start chatting. Like, sir, what's your problem? Blah blah blah. So I explain, and like, okay, hold on, sir. I'll try to help you, and I give like some information about my flight, and they go do some stuff, and I wait for about like 30 minutes. Like every 20 minutes, every 10 minutes, I check in on them, and they're not there. It's like, oh, it's showing an error. This is on WhatsApp. This is written on WhatsApp. It's showing an error. But maybe we can rebook manually. I'm like, okay, that sounds fun. Let me try. They say, let me try to rebook manually. So I wait a little bit more, and then I say, okay, look, I can't do it myself, but you're gonna help me do it. This is where things get really interesting. And they're like, okay, sir, can you install an app that's called Remitly? Remitly. I'm like, Remitly? Okay, well, maybe that's something British Airways does. And so I downloaded it because, maybe like first I go to the App Store and I see what it is. I'm like, I'm using these kind of apps to send money to my in-laws in South Africa, so I know what it is. It's like it's a way to do international transfers, and I'm like, that's raising like huge red flags. Like maybe I didn't get it right, or maybe that's the wrong app. Maybe that's something I have to do. It's 8 a.m. and I have to wait 30 minutes anyway. So I play along. Um, so I say, what is it for? It's like, oh no, it's gonna allow you to rebook manually. Don't worry, you're not gonna pay anything. Blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, well that's not. I have to wait anyway. So maybe there's a small chance this is legit. We'll see. So the first thing you have to do is like, the guy says, oh, sign up and let me know. Okay, so I just open the app, and the first thing they ask you, the first thing they ask you is, where are you from and where do you want to send money to? And you can't skip this. You can't skip it. Like you need to put the first country you're gonna send money to. And I'm like, well, if anything, it's gonna be the UK. So I'm like, so what am I supposed to do here? Like, and the guy says, oh no, just skip this part. I can't skip this one. Oh, put whatever. Just put Kenya. So I'm like, okay, this is shady as hell. this is so to Kenya, and then I'm like, oh, I see. So the number that was like all like that was a Kenyan number actually. So I'm like, okay, so let's at this point I kind of saw the scam as in 99%, and I want to see what's going after that. So I'm like, okay, I don't do anything anymore. I just left my phone. I'm like, okay, so what do you want me to do now? So the guy's like, okay, let us call you, and I put my manager on the line as well. So I'm talking to two guys now with a very strong African accent, and nothing like this is no. Usually when you talk to British Airways attendants, they usually have an Indian accent, and they had a very strong African accent, and already that sounded kind of shady already. That sounded shady already because I've had to deal with customer services, and this is not usually not what you get when you talk to an Indian to an English customer service. This is no like there's no prejudice in this. This is how I see it. So they start talk. They tell me like, okay, so sir, so what you're gonna do now is, do you have a piece of paper? Like, yes. So you write down you write down a code, okay? So it's gonna be BR, like BA, like British Airways, R for refund, and then I have the thing on my laptop, and like that's a bunch of letters that spell that's I think that was actually the bank details of the guy. So basically, he gave me his bank details, and then he gave me his name. So I have his name. And it's like it. He was making it sound like it was some legit British Airways code or something. So I'm like, okay, I just write it down, and he says, oh, can you repeat? Like, this is this. Okay. This is exactly a side quest at the airport, and at this point, I am I'm willing to. No, at this point, I know this is a scam. Like, the red flags are like broo broo. There's sirens and everything saying like, don't go any further because that's a scam. So I write down everything he tells me, and yeah, this is definitely the guy's name and his bank info. So I'm like, you know what? Because they have them on the phone. I'm like, this sounds a little shady. It's like, no, no, don't worry. This is how we do it. So that because now we're gonna have you rebook on your own. And also the first red flag was when he asked me how much I paid for the flight. That was the first big red flag. At first I thought maybe he's asking me because maybe that will tell him if I have a refundable ticket. So on a scale from 0 to 100, that was maybe a 30. Not 100 like, oh, this is a total red flag. A 30% red flag. Like, why would someone ask you how much I paid for my ticket? Like, they would be able to see. And also he didn't ask me like the the info, my flight info right away, and I gave it to him right away because I'm like, I want this to be quick. And anyway, I did not give any personal information. They have my phone number. They have a few of my flight info. I didn't give credit card numbers. I didn't give anything that would be too bad. I hope I didn't. I don't think I did, but I don't think I did. So at this point, I'm like, this is just bullshit. I'm like, this sounds not legit at all. And they're like, no, no, don't worry. And I'm like, okay, well, this is now when I have to check. Then I really have to do the background check. And I look it up. I look on Twitter, and in the meantime, another British Airways messaged me to say the exact same thing. But one of them was British Airways with underscore between British and Airways, and the other one was British Airways with an underscore at the end. And I checked the one I was talking to, British Airways, and the Twitter account had one like created February 2023 with one follower. I'm like, man, these guys. So someone is actively looking for people in trouble. They make fake accounts which look exactly the same except for the handles with the same description, same picture and everything. And And I didn't fall for it because I didn't go as far as, giving money, or I didn't even waste time. I didn't have anything else to do. I had to wait for the customer service to open. But I can see that a lot of people would have fallen for it. And I had at that point I was 22 hours in of no sleep, and I definitely put my guard down, but not enough to like fall for this one. So I see the Twitter handle. I'm like, fuck! I've been such an amateur, like going so far, and not almost falling for it because there were so many red flags that you gotta be pretty gullible to fall into that. So I check, and then I go back to all my messages. I'm like, yeah, well, the number, it's actually a Kenyan number. It's not just a random professional WhatsApp number, because when you call in France customer services, they don't call you from France. They call you from Morocco. They call you from India. They call you from other places, and the numbers always are not the like plus 44 or something from the UK. That was plus 200. Like, I think I deleted my thing. I should have kept it. I'm an idiot again. And so this is like 100% a scam at that point. This is the 100% scam. I realized it, and now I'm playing the movie in my head again. Everything that I gave away, all the red flags that were raised, they're like, yeah, well, that's freaking tricky. So the guy made me wait, but the guy was not looking into my flight. They were looking how to actually scam me as much as possible. So, okay. So the last message I sent them, like, oh, I could have just played along, but I was just too tilted at that point. Like, okay, lol, you freaking scammers, and then I blocked them, and that's the end of that part. It's almost 9:30, so I spent about an hour talking to these Kenyan guys, not actively trying to help me, and this is where you kind of lose faith in humanity. I'm not gonna lie. If there's one thing that comes out of it, is the 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 sadness of how people have to prey on vulnerable people, of on other people who are very vulnerable, just to try to take as much as possible from them. So just to wrap up this part of the story before we get to the analysis of what happened and why and everything. So I managed to call British Airways. My flight is a no-show, so impossible to change it. They tell me, look. We can't change it. We could change it now, but it would cost you like $150 just to change the booking. And since the flights went up drastically, and if you want to leave today or tomorrow, it's gonna be an extra 1,500 euros. So I'm like, screw that. I'm not paying 1,600 euros to go. And I quickly checked the other flights, and it's like 1,300. My flight was $450. This sucks, especially right now when I'm not struggling, but I wish I didn't like spew all the money. And I was kind of hoping to make up for it at the PT, at least get my money back. That did not happen. Uh, but at this point, I'm like, if I get to go, I get to go. If I don't, I'll live with that. Um, so she says, well, there's the way you can. There's nothing more I can do for you. You can. I'm like, yeah, well, you know what? Don't worry about it. Like, it's fine. Okay, fine. Goodbye. It's 10 a.m. 23 hours in of no sleep, and there are a few alternatives. Like, I can definitely, I could still go right now. Like, I can book a ticket to New York, go to Paris tonight, fly tomorrow morning to New York, then take a train and get to Philadelphia on time for the PT. Do I want to do it? No. I think back in the days, a couple years ago, I would have done it, 100%. I'd have done anything I could to make it happen. But now, the last couple of weeks, I've been like, man, why did I even book that flight? Why am I even going? I don't want to go. I My preparation was at 10%, and I feel bad for my teammates because I want to, I want to carry my weight. I want to do as much as possible. And they met last week in Philadelphia. They're all in the testing house, and I'm collaborating remotely, but I'm not doing as much as I could. Not as much as I could if I were there. But with two kids at home, I can't leave them behind. I can't leave for a week like I used to do. That's just not possible. So basic day at the testing house is drafting when you can, playing all you can as well. So out of the 16 or 20 hours you're up, you'll be playing like 16 of them. And here I was maybe doing 2 or 3 hours top, which is like 5% of what you have to do. So it's sad to say, and it's hard to say, but I was not, I was not, and I could not carry my weight. The team was CFB, like LSV, Reduk, Nassif, Eli Cassis, Mike Sigrist, and other big names. Also, like Pioneer is not my thing. Like I played a lot, but it's not like I was super successful. I didn't have like this tricky super deck that I wanted to play at all cost. Or maybe they're super confident with it, but I'm not. I can't say what they're playing because they're still working on it. They haven't done anything. Long story. So that's the long story. That's the long story. But it's told like that is not as much fun. It's not as fun. But there are things to there are things to there are things to take from this story. So so yeah, I did not. I'm still receiving messages of people telling me, "Oh, you should go there. You should look. I looked it up for you. It will cost you like $600 to go to, and then from Paris and blah blah." blah. I'm like, don't bother. Like, my motivation for that tournament is not going to is not going to push me to do everything I can to get there. And I have this image of my son this morning is like, no, daddy, don't go, papa, papa, je veux pas que tu partes. And you get to weigh, everything in. Like, is it really that bad if I don't go? This was definitely not the effort. It would have cost me a lot of time. I would have lost another day. Yes, I can do that. Since I was just using my Hall of Fame, I was not qualified for that tournament. I used my Hall of Fame invite that I can postpone. I basically I lost $400 for my tickets. It's all I lost. It's still substantially annoying because, well, as I said, it's not a great time to spew money. But that could have been a lot worse. I could have fallen for the ESTA scam. I could have fallen for the British Airways, for the Kenyan scam. Also, it's not like I'm missing like a super important PT. It's not like missing the first one or the second one. The only thing I'm missing is a shot at Worlds. If I do well, at the next two PTs, then I get to like qualify for Worlds. But if I do well at one of the PTs, I might qualify anyway. But just I missed the opportunity to change the invites, which is back in the days when that was my whole life. that would have been devastating. I would have been feeling like like crap the whole day, and not being able to forgive myself. But these days, it's not like I don't care. But as I said to someone, I feel like my brain is completely saturated. You've been to every PT without missing for 10 years, for 20 years, man. For 20 years, I hadn't missed one in 20 years. I missed it. Trouble started when I missed the first one. Uh, just my mind is so saturated. Like, I going out of the daily routine and thinking of other stuff and doing other stuff is like it's so hard. Brain doesn't work. Missing one feels good. I think like I was not you know there's some like my dad when he missed his flight, the world was against him. Like it was the universe telling him not to go, and like everybody was against him. The people at check-in were against him. The company was against him. Uh, they kept him from the flight. When that happened this morning, I was like, "Yep, I'm messed up." I mean, that's I missed an onboard trick. It is Levin's fault. He's gonna come back and he's gonna come home from school thinking I'm not there. He's like, Papa, or maybe he's just like, oh, ça va, and he just forgot I was supposed to leave. But I think he was sad this morning. It is definitely midlife crisis. I am going through this 100%. There's no hiding it. Uh, oh, you're already back. Oh, that's cool. Come play with me now. Uh, so now the question is, because there's like the real question is how much did I self sabotage? How much did I sabotage myself? It's hard to say. It's hard to say because on stream I was not too excited. I was not excited at home. I was like, yeah, I have to go. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be back home soon, and I was not excited enough. I was not looking forward to it enough to care about thoroughly going through all the papers. Like I was like, oh yeah, well that should be fine. Vaccination, sure, I have that one. Ticket, yeah, sure, I have it on my phone. Okay, let's go. What did the wife say? The wife felt bad for me. Monica felt bad for me. But yeah, things have changed, right, Matt? Like now inspire. I don't know why inspire anymore. So yeah, life kind of catches up, you know, and so the few things to keep to the few things to keep in mind, like to take out of the story. I think they're more important things, and you got to cut your know how when to cut your losses, because yes, I could have I could have gone all in, rebooked my flight. Yeah, also draft set is not great. That was also, if it was like 100% win rate in draft, I would have maybe made an effort. But it's not like I'm too excited to play the set anyway. To cut your losses, it's not because I sank $400 in my ticket that I have to sink 1,500 more. The screenshot is from like How I Met Your Mother, when it tells the story to the kids. Um, So I was like, yeah, well, at this point, I'm gonna cut my losses. I'm gonna not going to rebook. I'm gonna spend the time. I'm gonna take 1 or 2 days to just suck it up, get some rest because I just haven't rested. I got home, I slept for 4 hours, and I woke up like an hour ago. So now I'm even jet lagged from not going to the US. I was supposed to go. I was supposed to go, and be right with my I'm in US sleep schedule right now. So I watched How I Met Your Mother about 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Salt lagged maybe. Oh yeah, How Miss the Pro Tour is. I added that up. Oh, that's good. The past few months I've never. Well, apparently I can't. And would you watch the PT stream? So the good thing, there are a few good things. There is this the Ready Check Go limited tournament that I'm gonna be able to play on Sunday. I was like, I'm third in the limited race, so I'm gonna play that. Uh, yeah, sleep is important. Coping with everything is too hard. I think takes too much energy. I signed up for a I signed up for a 10K race in March. Oh, Sheepy, you'll enjoy this one. Just do I still do jiu-jitsu? Yes, and I'm trying to religiously go like 3 or 4 times a week because I'm preparing for my black belt. Hopefully this happens soon. I know I say that all the time, but I'm I'm getting I'm getting a little anxious. Uh, I was supposed to sign up for a half marathon at the end of March, but I don't think I'm gonna be ready because I haven't had time to run. Like running takes time, and I do it whenever I have some free time. So whenever I can like sneak out of the house for 45 minutes, I sneak out, I come back, because that's how I manage to keep my sanity. So yeah, this is and the other thing to keep in mind is that people are scum. A lot of people would do everything to take advantage of you. However down you are, when you're down, you have to you have to keep your guard up. And that's probably the happy part, not the positive side, is that I don't care that much. It's not too bad if I don't go. It's it's annoying because I prepared a little bit and I feel like I wasted my time. Uh, but I didn't lose much. I didn't lose too much. It's damage have been controlled basically, and I'm gonna be spend some time with my people. Little guy was gonna be happy I'm not going. This is fine. This is okay. I'll sleep tonight. In another world, I would have kicked myself so bad. I would have felt so bad about being such an idiot. This is okay. And I'm like, you know what? If I missed back in the days, I missed an onboard trick, I would never forgive myself. Here I missed an onboard trick that was kind of hidden, but I'm like, yep, well, I knew about it and I forgot about it. So I can play this game a million times, I would still not see it. Uh, the bad part is there are people out there preying on you. As in, they will take advantage of you, and they don't give a shit. And this is where it's really the bad part. And I've followed this for a long time. During COVID years, even now, I am on social media and online, and I think that's very interesting to see how things are going, how people are preying on others. And that's how, like, these therapy people, they prey on the most vulnerable ones to sell them all kind of shit of crappy therapy. And they sell them like, oh, you're gonna get better here, what about you follow my seminars, how about you buy my drugs, how about you do this, and how about I'm gonna save the world with that crappy medicine that doesn't cure anything. And they would do anything, to get money from you. And that's, it's not a scary part, not from my, like, if you know it's coming for you, you can't dodge it, and you're gonna fall for it once in a while. But how do you teach kids that, people are just bad? Not everyone, but some of them are, like, terrible. These people, they didn't care I was trying to fix something. The only thing they saw was someone with money that could send them money. Well, that's what I know. I know what it is. But so the yeah, you can't say that these people, like, whoever is behind all these scams, they know. I mean, someone has to know that they have to steal from us, from people. They have to steal. And it's hard to, because how do you how do you teach how do you teach a kid that is so happy, that sees beauty in everything, that sees fun in everything, that, well, you know what, people are trying to prey on you, people are trying to rob you, people are trying to take advantage of you at any turn of your life. And that's basically every single interaction I have with physical people when I go in town to buy stuff. And now it's like 50% of my interactions with people online. They're trying to scam me. Everybody wants to scam you. Everybody is out there. Not everybody, but a lot of people are out there to try to take advantage of you. So that, I think that's the really bad part. The fact that I forgot my ESTA, that I'm not playing to the PT, that's almost completely irrelevant. This is part of the story I'm telling right now. This is not about the PT itself. This is not about me missing my trip. I flew to the US like hundreds of times, and I never had a problem. I missed out of. I'm 41 now. I've been flying since I was 16. I missed one flight. That's the second flight I missed my whole life. So I am I am I'm gonna try my best to have him live happy, knowing that people are there are a lot of scums out there. And I hope this is not gonna be too bad for them. This world is not gonna be too hostile. And I think that's the end of this story. You know what? That's exactly what I thought. Shipier, I think you're right. The saddest part is that I can't do the running up the stairs story, the running out of stairs picture. I think that's the worst part. I think this, like, not getting the Rocky picture, and then scum in the world, and then, like, missing the PT. And I hope you enjoyed the story. If you have been scammed in the past and you want to share your story, please use the comment section down below. And don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you for other stories.